I yield back to Mr. Ribble.
I thank the gentleman for yielding in his comments, and I just have to say, if a Green Bay Packer fan like myself, Mr. Speaker, and a Chicago Bear fan like Representative Lipinski can get together and talk about things, we can talk about that. We can talk about anything. I thank the gentleman for his comments. It was 2009. In fact, it was around Christmas time, 2009, where I became convicted about possibly running for Congress for the first time. I'm in my second term, Mr. Speaker. And I came here to this chamber, not just represent the citizens of Northeast Wisconsin, but I came here because I believe that the fabric of trust between the American people and its government has been torn. But fabric torn can be mended. It can be mended by common thread that binds us together, not as Republicans and Democrats, men and women, but common thread that binds us together as Americans. But common thread can only be used if it's found. Common thread can only be found if you seek it. One of the reasons that I feel we sometimes can't repair this torn fabric is because it's so difficult to find the common ground. But common indeed can be found when representatives are willing to seek it out. You know, Mr. Speaker, our founders established a representative republic and instructed us. And they said if we could find agreement, do those things. But if we couldn't find agreement, they warned us as well. They said that where you can't find agreement, it might be best for you not to do those things until you can, in fact, find agreement. And so we have to go out and we have to look for it. And I could talk to my Republican colleagues every single day. In many respects, it's like preaching to the choir. And I think that preaching to the choir is a fine thing. I mean, you often preach to the choir because you want them to sing. But the fact of the matter is, I have agreement with my Republican colleagues on most things. Not everything, but on most things. So therefore, I must go and I must talk to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. The fastest way to mend that torn fabric is by meeting people, by building trust, by taking the time to understand them, and then seeking for the areas of common ground, to find the common thread that binds us together. And when we find that, we can begin to repair the torn fabric between the American people and its government. It's really what we've been sent here to do. We've been sent here to find and solve problems, not to fight about them. Now, disagreement will happen. In fact, you can look historically into this chamber, and there's been a lot of disagreement. It dates back to the beginning of our nation's founding. But there's also been a lot of agreement. Think about the differences from 1787 to today. Think about the America that exists today. And in much of it, it exists because the men and women who were sent by the citizens of their districts to lead came here, and through statesmanlike qualities were willing to. They had the courage to make tough decisions and then lead this country to the place that it is today. I am filled with hope about America. I'm filled with hope because of the colleagues that I work with here. I'm filled with hope, Mr. Speaker, because of men like you. I thank you for your time tonight. I thank my colleagues for their time. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to